The Europeans are starting to seriously discuss the concept of a full ban on all Russian oil, natural gas, and refined product export. Now, this is still in progress. It's probably not going to happen this week because it required a lot of countries that have been very hostile to the idea over the year of agreeing to go with it. But it's time to start talking about what that looks like because it probably is inevitable and it will almost certainly happen in April. So first a little bit of background about how the Russian system worked. When the Soviet Union broke up, they had a lot of big fields that were being trapped, not necessarily to generate the most money, but just because the Soviet system didn't fail efficiently. You have heard that from time to time. Anyway, everything went west. There were a series of pipelines that start in northwest Siberia, stretch southwest and west to eventually getting to three specific locations. The first of is a major pipeline that goes through major pipeline system which goes through Belarus and Ukraine and into Poland and then into Germany. The second one is a pipe that terminates near SC. Petersburg that finally come online in the post-World War area at a place called Promix. So it's on the Baltic Sea, and the third one goes to a pre-existing superport on Novorossiysk, which is on the Black Sea. So two Russian ports, one pipeline system. Those are the one that are to a degree interconnected because those pipeline networks stretch not just through Siberia or Europe, but all the lands in between. So this is what the Russians also use for their own internal distribution. And during the Soviet times, that's what they use for distribution into Belarus and Ukraine as well. All of those are going to get shut down. The pipes going to Poland and Germany, probably the first one to go down because they are either going to be damaged in the war or Ukrainian partisans are going to target a source of income. So that's going to go away. Novosik on the Black Sea is a shallow water port. It can only take small, shortly tankers, and anything that goes out then needs to go through the Turkish skies as well. Well, the Turks have declared Russia a belligerent because it is, and those a war on. And so, insurance companies have been pulling insurance policies for any ships that try to go to Novorossiysk. So, the only ships that can go are those that can get a sovereign interdiction from another country. So, there's a sign that the Chinese are trying to send a fleet of small tankers into this port in order to land them off. And then once they get through the Turkish strains at sea, offload them from the small tankers to a super tanker that can then make the transcontinental trip to China up north on the Baltic Sea at the Promix. There's not an insurance issue there. It's a captain issue. Captains are refusing to dock at a Russian port. And then there are dock workers in Europe that are refusing to unload the cargo. So again, the Chinese are looking at potentially going there as well. Now, all of this is getting shut down because the Europeans, once they do a full sanction package, obviously the pipes, they can shut off themselves. But the EU, working with NATO, can shut down both the Danish strikes and the Turkish strikes, and that blocks it all. Nothing can get in and out. The Turks may still be getting a little bit of oil from the Russian on the side. That might be the price of getting this deal in. But it is coming, and that is 4 to 5 million barrels a day. That will fall offline. Now, some people say, why don't you just send it to China? I mean, the Chinese, they are not price sensitive. They will do anything. Well, there's an infrastructure ratio. First of all, what the Chinese are trying now is to load up at Promox and over A6 and then within slide of NATO ports. Transfer this cargo from a small ship to a large ship. And just to assume that no one's going to do anything about it's one of the bomber things that I have heard. But apparently, the Chinese are going to try it because right now, Russians euros yield is trending at a 30 dollar discount to other global trades. So they are thinking that it's owed the rich. And if they do get slaps down, it's no big loss. The real problem is that those failed in northwest Siberia. All the pipelines, all the infrastructure goes to the west. The failed that supply the Asian routes are not connected. So we have got a couple big ones. There's some in the Ilux area which supplies a pipelines that's known as EXPO. EXPO which terminates near Vladivostok on the Pacific. And there's a little super line that goes down from that into Tucking in northern China proper. And then we have got a Sockland project, which is this far eastern island north of Japan, used to be Japanese territory before World War, where those a couple of projects that send natural gas by pipe or by LNG to the weather world. Now, the problem that the Chinese and everyone are going to have with those projects is that the Russians can't operate any of them themselves. Those are all post-Cold War development. Companies like Shell and Exxon run the Sockland project, and services firms like Schlumberger and Halliburton are the only ones who can do the operations onshore that supply the EHPO line. Well, over the course of the war, they have all pulled out. In fact, Halliburton and Schlumberger just announced their withdrawal on March 18 and March 19, whereas Exxon was one of the first out the door. So, the Russians can't keep this stuff going, and linking the western infrastructure to the eastern infrastructure would require a series of pipelines that are longer than the distance from Anchorage, Alaska to Miami, through largely virgin terrain. That's a 10-year project. That's a 50 billion project minimum, assuming nothing else goes wrong. So not only are we looking at a collapse in Russia's ability to send crude west, we are looking at a slower collapse in Russian ability to send its pre-existing flow south to China. That's going to weaken over time. And don't think that the Chinese can come in and take care of this for the Russians, because the Chinese are even worse at oil tech than the Russians are. So the outcome of this war so far is contributing the Chinese to get less product out of Russia as opposite to more product. Okay, thank you for listening to your political analysis.